If you've been walking into rooms and forgetting why you went in, losing words mid-sentence, or just feeling like your thinking isn't as sharp as it used to be, there's a good chance your diet is playing a much bigger role than you realize. Most people assume that memory decline after 60 is just part of getting older. Something you accept and manage. But research from Harvard Health Publishing, the NIH, and the Alzheimer's Society tells a very different story. What you eat directly shapes the health of your brain, and certain foods, ones that most of us eat without a second thought, are quietly accelerating cognitive decline in ways that are measurable, documented, and in many cases, reversible. So in this video, we're going to go through 7 specific foods that research consistently links to memory loss and brain fog in older adults. And at the end, I'll show you what to eat instead, because there's genuinely good news here, and I don't want you to miss it. Let's get into it. The second most damaging food on this list, and it surprises a lot of people, is trans fats. These are artificial fats created through a process called hydrogenation, which food manufacturers use to extend the shelf life of packaged and fried foods. You'll find them in a lot of commercial biscuits, pastries, margarines, and fast food. Research reviewed by the NIH found that higher trans fat consumption is strongly associated with worse memory performance and a significantly greater risk of Alzheimer's disease in older adults. What trans fats do is raise your bad LDL cholesterol, lower your good HDL cholesterol, and drive inflammation throughout the body, including the brain. The tricky part is that food labels don't always say trans fats clearly. What you're looking for is the phrase partially hydrogenated oils in the ingredients list. That's the same thing. If you see it, put the product back on the shelf. But here's the thing, trans fats rarely show up alone. They tend to travel with the number 1 most damaging category on this list, which is ultra-processed foods more broadly. Ready meals, packaged snacks, instant noodles, processed meats, these foods are engineered to be convenient and incredibly easy to overeat. And a major study published through the NIH, which followed over 10,000 adults across 8 years, found that people who ate the most ultra-processed foods showed significantly faster rates of cognitive decline compared to those who ate the least. Not a small difference. A meaningful, measurable one. These foods are typically loaded with sugar, salt, trans fats, and artificial additives, all of which contribute to brain inflammation and reduced cognitive function over time. A simple rule of thumb that actually works: if a food has more than 5 ingredients on the label and most of them are things you can't easily pronounce, treat it as an occasional thing rather than a daily staple. Now, coming in third on our list is something that's been a staple in most people's diets their whole lives: white sugar and sugary drinks. And I know that sounds obvious, but the mechanism here is worth understanding, because it's not just about weight. When you consume large amounts of refined sugar regularly, it triggers inflammation throughout the body, including the brain. Harvard Health Publishing links diets high in added sugar to reduced volume in the hippocampus, which is the part of your brain most responsible for memory and learning. On top of that, high blood sugar damages the small blood vessels that deliver oxygen to your brain, gradually reducing blood flow to the areas you need most for clear thinking. The swap here is straightforward. Replace sugary drinks with water, herbal tea, or sparkling water. If you want something sweet, fresh fruit is genuinely a good option, because the fiber in it slows down sugar absorption significantly. And if you're thinking, well, I already cut back on sugar and switched to diet drinks, I want you to hold that thought, because food number 7 on this list is going to be important for you specifically. We'll get there in a moment. First, let's talk about refined carbohydrates: white bread, white rice, white pasta. These behave almost identically to sugar inside your body. They digest rapidly, cause sharp spikes in blood sugar, and over time, that repeated cycle directly harms brain tissue and the blood vessels supplying it. Harvard Health Publishing links diets high in refined carbohydrates to impaired memory, increased brain fog, and a higher risk of dementia in older adults. The swap is genuinely not that hard: whole grain bread instead of white, brown rice or quinoa instead of white rice, whole grain or lentil-based pasta instead of regular. The taste difference is small. The long-term brain health difference is not. Now, number 5 requires a bit of honesty rather than alarm, because this is a sensitive one. Alcohol. Alcohol is technically a neurotoxin, meaning it directly damages brain cells, particularly with heavy or regular use. The Alzheimer's Society identifies excessive alcohol consumption as one of the most significant modifiable risk factors for dementia. And even moderate drinking affects sleep quality in ways that matter, because it's during deep sleep that your brain consolidates memories and clears out waste products. The NHS considers low-risk drinking to be no more than 14 units per week, spread across several days. If you're regularly above that, reducing your intake is one of the most impactful single changes you can make for long-term brain health. Not the easiest, but one of the most impactful. Number 6 is high-salt processed meats, bacon, sausages, ham, salami, tinned meats. These are very high in sodium, and diets consistently high in sodium raise blood pressure, which over time reduces blood flow to the brain. Research from the NIH links high sodium intake to increased cognitive decline and a greater risk of stroke, which is one of the leading causes of memory loss in older adults. Processed meats also contain nitrates, preservatives that some research suggests may contribute to neurological inflammation. Fresh fish, eggs, beans, and lentils are all solid protein swaps that your brain and your blood pressure will both thank you for. And now, back to number 7, artificial sweeteners. A lot of people switch to diet drinks and sugar-free products thinking they're making a smarter choice. And the intention is completely understandable. But emerging research suggests some real caution is warranted here. Studies reviewed by Harvard Health Publishing found associations between high artificial sweetener consumption and changes in gut bacteria, and your gut bacteria communicate directly with your brain through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. When that communication gets disrupted, it's linked to increased anxiety, low mood, and in some studies, impaired memory function. This doesn't mean a sweetener in your morning tea is going to harm you. But if you're drinking multiple diet drinks a day and loading up on sugar-free products, it's worth reconsidering. Water and herbal teas are the cleanest alternatives. Small amounts of honey in moderation if you need something sweet. If this is landing for you and you want to go deeper on protecting your brain through lifestyle, not just diet but sleep, exercise, and stress, our video on brain health after 60 covers all of that. It's worth watching next, and I'll link it at the end. So let's talk about what to actually eat instead, because this is the part that changes everything. The same research that identifies these harmful foods also consistently points to what protects and improves memory after 60. The Mind Diet, developed specifically for brain health by researchers at Rush University, focuses on leafy green vegetables, berries, nuts, olive oil, oily fish, beans, and whole grains. Studies show it can slow cognitive aging by up to 7.5 years when followed consistently. That's not a small number. That's years of sharper thinking, better recall, and clearer mental function from food choices. You don't need to be perfect about this. You need to be consistent. If you take 2 or 3 of the foods we talked about today and start replacing them with better alternatives this week, that's enough to make a real difference over months and years. Your brain is not fixed. It responds to what you feed it at 60, at 70, and beyond. If this video was useful to you, please share it with someone you care about. A single change in diet could protect someone's memory for years to come. And if you haven't subscribed to Golden Health Guide yet, we put out a new video every week, clear, honest health information for adults 50 and over, backed by real research. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any decisions about your health. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, please call your local emergency services immediately.